Shalom, shalom. Starting off giving all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the elders of Great Millstone. Salutations to the Akims, the brothers, and the Aquas, the few sisters, pushing this truth. And I want to, second off, start off by saying, Ashar, Kadash, Shabbat. Happy Holy Sabbath. Ashar, Kadash, Shabbat to you Akims and you Aquas out there. New moon came in. Not this week, but 2 weeks ago. But, just throwing a little bit of the holy tongue out there, the Lashon Kadash. But, make about 20-minute video, 25 minutes, we'll see. Got a lot of information, man, a lot of good information, good stuff on Esau's, his HAARP program, okay? Me bringing it out, backing it up by the scriptures, climate control, going all of that stuff. How we showing all this, how all this climate control stuff is fake. So this is, I was watching a movie called GEOSTORM, and, another prophetic movie in which I'll just read the plot a little bit. It says the plot, GEOSTORM is a 2017 science fiction disaster film directed by Dean Devlin. You could actually find it on Tubi. It's free. And it was made by Warner Brothers, so it ain't got all them cheesy, them cheesy graphics. It's actually a pretty graphic movie, all right? Anything made by Warner Brothers, pretty good graphics. But more or less, it says it stars Gerald Butler, which he's a very good actor, Jim Sturgis, Abby Cornish, and Ed Harris. The plot follows a satellite designer who races against time to fix a malfunctioning climate control network before a massive man-made storm destroys Earth. So that whole climate control thing, Esau showing you through his sci-fi movies that was created. And it tells you that in this movie, he'll create something called climate control, which is just him using different weather programs and transmitters and antennas, which we're gonna get into all that, to do what? Alter the weather. All right. What do you think the fires in California came from? And then you had, what did they say? Half of the United States is on fire. The west coast of California, the east coast of, and then half of the United States was going through a winter wonderland, which was like the eastern coast, South Carolina, North Carolina. Because remember, like earlier this year plus last year, which you brothers can research that, they was having it was snowing in Florida, snowing all on the East Coast, And if you know anything about weather, when you look at weather patterns from 10 years ago and 20 years ago, I'm only 25, 26 in a few months, 3 months. So if you go back 30, 40 years and go 50, 60, you as over time you've seen, which me and the elder just did the lesson on gradualism, you've seen how these weather patterns have become more and more worse. And it's not because of it's because of Esau's technology, all right? So we're gonna start off with some precepts first. We're gonna start off with the book of Psalms, all right? Because it's the only devil that'll do something like this, creates mischief on the earth, all right? For his evil purposes. Killing people and taking land, This is Psalms chapter 26, verse 9. It says, "Gather not my soul with sinners, nor my life with bloody men." Right, because we Israelites, we ain't supposed to be joined hand to hand with Esau and his wicked kingdom and society. All right, so you athletes, you gladiators, all right, you ones that took the bag, millions of dollars, 10 million, 20 million in 1 year. Meanwhile, we got 20 million homeless people in America, but y'all give one man 20 million a year because he dribbled a basketball good or great, because you got to be great to do that. All right, so all you Boule Society members who we bust out, you Greek fastness, you college motherfuckers, you summa cum laude top of the class ass motherfuckers. All right, we get to put names on these things. You who else we got? You Jakes who went off into the military. You see how this going for you? Y'all over there having quote unquote, and let me say this is Fair Use Act. Fair Use Act. This is all for educational purposes. Not for monetary purposes, not making no money off of this. Yeah, we get 5 views a video, so we only speaking to the elect. But this is Fair Use Act, all right? But it's been reported you Jakes or you not just Jakes, you American soldiers, Navy members, sailors over there fighting it out for knife battles, fighting over food. You know, that's how you know this world. That's how you know this world is coming to an end, man. And it's gonna be the same thing on the soils of America, neighbor fighting against neighbor. All right. But anyways, it says Psalms 26:9, gather not my soul with sinners, nor my life with bloody men. Right? Because we're not supposed to be performing the same things that they do. All right. It says in whose hands is mischief. All right, and their right hand is full of bribes. Because your right hand is your strong hand. That's your dominant hand. When you go to shake hands with somebody, you shake it up with your right. That shows honor and trust and dignity. All right, that's man code. So if I go to shake my right hand with an Edomite and he turn around and backstab me, you know, fraud me out, kill me like Cain and Abel, right? Then that shows what type of person this man is. Remember, also in Psalms it says his words were smooth and butter, but in his heart was violence. All right. So that's one precept. So we're gonna go to another precept real quick. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. We all know this one. It says, oh, Salakia. 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. Oh, I'm looking at Chronicles. I'm like, huh? You know, 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. I think it is 1 Corinthians. Oh, no, it's 2. 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. So once you research, first you got to have the truth. But once you research and you study, well, I'll take that back. You don't necessarily have to have the truth to know that these devils are playing foul games out here, dirty games. Because you have some meteorologists and scholars and, you know, that know this stuff, know about the HAARP program, know climate control ain't real, and they bust it out. But we got the truth, so we know not only that, but everything else, all right? So that's where our blessing come in at. Y'all smart, y'all the wise men of this world, but we're the ones that are wise, sent from heaven, the sons of God. It says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, we're not ignorant of his devices, all right? So that's why we're able to watch movies like the GEOSTORM and bust them out and use their own science fiction against them and prove how they doing this in real life, all right? So now that I got those two scriptures out, let me show y'all these two videos from the movie. Like I say, it's free. You know, it's a nice little, you know, the plot was alright. I actually watched like the first 30 minutes and it kind of got boring because, you know, they was, you know how they turn science fiction to love and romance and all this. But the main parts that I needed to see, I saw because, you know, that's the ones I recorded. But anyways, we're going to play this first video. And watch the closed caption because it's a little low. It's lucky. It says they found a way to neutralize the storms with a net of thousands of satellites. That's the HAARP program. And you see how it's sitting in space like that, right? Each deploying countermeasures designed to impact the basic elements of weather. That's Esau playing God, all right? Heat, pressure, and water, all overseen by the International Space Station. They gave the satellite net a technical name. We came to name it Dutch Boy, after the story of the child who plugged the dam with his finger, right? Going back into mythology. All right. And I want you to pay close attention if you brothers wasn't watching. Look at this main part because this proves what's said in Revelation chapter 13. Just look at what they do. They send a little technology out and you see how it makes explosions and fires in heaven, right? This is what saved us all. Well, let's go to Revelation chapter 13. It's right here actually. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go to it on the screen. They claim that through this technology in the movie, that's what saved all of mankind from quote unquote natural disasters, which they said was man-made in the plot, right? Here we go. Revelation 13 and 11. And I beheld, so I saw another beast coming out of the earth, And that beast is talking about America, all right? And he had two horns like a lamb, which represents your modern day Democrats and Republicans. We do all this talking about making the world better in all they little different ways and ideologies. But it says he had two horns like a lamb, so he spake very calm, very gentle for the peoples, blase, blase. And he spake as a dragon. See that? So what he tells you, well, actually, you got somebody like Trump. Let's look at Trump. Trump, before he got elected, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna create so many jobs. Oh, we're gonna stop all the wars. Oh, we're gonna make America great again. That was his whole slogan. Now, not even a year into his presidency, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, August, 6 months. All right, Lucifer's number, the number of man, right? Not even 6 months into his presidency, he signed the most executive orders of all time by a United States president. Not only did he not end the war in Ukraine with Russia, nor did he end the war with Israel and Palestine and their factions. What else did he do? He started a war against Iran, which is all biblical. So that's why we give a hand claps, or 4, 5, 6, 7, to the king of Babylon, because he's just fulfilling prophecy. And he's just the dumbass to do it. All right? The Malis got him up there playing puppet. They got him playing Pinocchio. Every time he lies, nose grow. It's just you don't see his nose grow. We see it. But that's what he does, man. He speaks as a dragon. He said, F them sailors. I don't care. They over there suffering. Oh, well, I feel like they ain't been there long enough. He said, F people who going through struggles who can't save money. Oh, well, get over it. Get a better job, So that's how these devils, that's their whole philosophy, man. That's how they run their country, as dragons, all right? Verse 12, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, which is the pagan Roman Empire, all right? And causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. Right. That's why on your dollar bill, it got the eagle, all right, which represents power, which was the animal, you can say the spirit animal of Rome, all right, and it says e pluribus unum, meaning out of many one what? One world order. Rome, when they was in power, had the whole world under submission, all right, through their military might and through their political power reign. Same thing with America. They at once had the whole world, all the way from World War I, World War II, all right, 1970s, Kuwait, 80s, 90s, all the Middle Eastern battles, 2000s. Of course, we know they lost in Iraq, Afghanistan, 2005, 10, 15, 20. Now, we in this time of age, and America doesn't have the strongest military anymore. They've actually been overtaken by China, and you can look that up. All right? So, that's how we know that this is the pagan Roman Empire all over again, because remember, Rome fell as well. And America will fall just like her mother Rome did. Actually, her mother is Britain. That's going deeper into it. All right? But America will fall like the beast before it, which was Rome. Okay? Now, this is the point. All right? Right here in 14, I'm going to let you watch the video again. Okay? If you didn't see it the first time. All right? See, you got the technology Esau put in the heavens and the ISS, International Space Station, coming down through the clouds and doing what? Creating fires in the heavens. All right? Now, this is back to Revelation 13 and 14. It says, and deceiveth, Salakia, 13 and 13, and he doeth great wonders through his technology, all right? So that he make a fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. We just saw that in the video, all right? That's how he does it. That's one way of doing it, shall I say. It's through his HAARP program. All right, but remember, he got all types of technology: supersonic missiles, Project Bluebeam, underground cities, creating robots now. You know, all types of technology. EMP, you know, electromagnetic pulses. They can knock out power in whole cities, whole countries. Look what Cuba's going through right now. All right, Puerto Rico, and it's all to destroy and oppress the 12 tribes of Israel. Verse 14, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. So he got you people deceived. All right, that's why I say 2/3 of the earth shall be cut off therein and die, and 1/3 shall be saved. That 1/3 is the elect. We not gonna go. We ain't going. We ain't gonna be deceived. We the ones that are exposing the deceiver. All right. Verse 14, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Right. He only able to do this because the Most High gave him the power and the technology to do it. That's why I say, thou children of this world are wiser than the children of Dan. Saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. So let's go in the blue letter real quick and clarify what that word image is. Make an image to the beast. All right, it's Revelation 13 and 14. That word image, it says, an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live. Image is icon. Icon. It says an image, figure, likeness. All right. When you in America, you an American citizen. You have to abide by American rules. But it says it's gonna happen. He gonna do this to? It says saying to them that dwell on the earth. That's why that's where that one world order comes in at. All right. But I like this definition. It says applied to man on account of his power of command. Right. If you in America, who is your power of command? Your American government. In America is the what? Power of the world. The power of the world is America. That's why all these nations gonna be mad and crying and sighing pertaining to Revelation 18 when America gets destroyed. All right. Verse 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So he's gonna make you get a chip. All right, he's gonna make you get a chip, and if you don't worship him, you're gonna get killed. And if you wasn't part of the elect and you get killed, that was just your faith. You was just another second in the movie. But if you are the elect and you end up getting killed by not taking that chip, count it worthy, because we're gonna come back and put them in 1,000 years of slavery. We have to do 500, they got to do 1,000. Figure it out. Double portion. All right. So, anyways, let's now that we got that out the way, let's go a little bit into the HAARP program, what that's all about. All right. First, to show you, because Esau don't want to admit that the HAARP program can actually modify weather. So we're gonna show you how he did that already, just under a different name, during the Vietnam War. This is Operation Popeye, was a secret United States military cloud seeding program during the Vietnam War, and we know that that's true because we just saw in the movie how they used the technology from the space down into the clouds to do whatever they wanted to do on the earth, on the people, on land. It says during the Vietnam War, 1967 to 1972, intended to turn the monsoon mud into a weapon against the Ho Chi Minh Trail. It has no connection to HAARP, though both frequently appear together in weather modification conspiracy theories. Well, the Operation Popeye wasn't no conspiracy because it actually happened. It says the goal was to extend the monsoon season over Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam to wash out roads and slow enemy logistics. So basically, you know, because it's like being in the medieval times. If you had an army, if you was fighting an army that was bigger than yours, a good technique that they'd always do is if they knew that army had a lot of horses and chariots, they'd camp out under a field, or like just say like on the bottom of a hill, and if they knew it was gonna rain and there was a lot of mud and landslides, they camp at the bottom, and it's the enemy coming down the hill, not seeing the water and all that mud. Soon as they that first to second to third battalion on their horses run through, them horses going 40, 50 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour. So they slipping on the mud and sliding, getting stuck. And then once your first, second, and third wave of infantry, once that falls, because that's your first in line, then you kill them off, and then you go and kill the rest. So it's just that's a throwback military tactic, all right. And I only know about that from watching different medieval movies. You know, that's the only reason I know about that. But that's why you gotta, expand your mind, watch the movies, man. But okay. So now let's go to the HAARP program, High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. Reality, a scientific research facility in Gakona, Alaska. Right, so it's somewhere put up that ain't nobody gonna know about. You won't just pass by Gakona, Alaska all day, any day, Funded, you only going out there if you got government permission and access. Go out there if you want to. You're gonna get killed and nobody ever find out what happened to you. And they'll just be sending your family some flowers in the mail. If that. Funded to study the properties of the ionosphere. Operates as a large radio transmitter and cannot affect tropospheric weather or manipulate surface climate. That's what they say. All right. But we know through the spirit and power of the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shah, that these devils have created that program to alter the weather on the earth. We just read the book in Revelations 13. We just saw the movie. All right. Now, in the movie, I didn't play the second video. Yes, I did, because it talked about I don't think I played the second video. Let me play it. I did play the second video. Droughts, tornadoes, floods, droughts unleashed a wave of destruction upon our planet. That's what Esau want. We didn't just lose towns or beachfronts. We lost entire cities. Esau's plan killed 6 billion people on the earth. It says a heat wave killed 2 million people in Madrid, which is the capital of Spain. All right. So if we go here, heat wave in Spain currently. It says Spain is currently undergoing an intense period of extreme heat, with temperatures pushing past 104 degrees and reaching as high as 44.5 degrees Celsius, which is about another 115, 120 degrees Fahrenheit. The relentless conditions have prompted the National Weather Agency, AMIT, to issue severe red alerts for several areas, including parts of Galicia, which is, I don't want to say this Galatia. It could be, but I have to look. The Valencian community in northern coastal sectors, driven by a high pressure system. See that high pressure system? The Most High don't deal with, when it comes to weather, we gonna get this too. He don't deal with systems and genetically modified systems. No, everything is set in perfect array. Esau is the one that's doing this. That's how we know he's using the HAARP program, pulling hot air directly from the Sahara. This latest wave has triggered acute concerns over climbing heat-related casualties and an elevated extreme risk of wildfires across the country. Same thing they did from Canada 2 to 3 weeks ago, and that was actually like, I dreaded that moment, being in Wisconsin, South Wisconsin, not North Wisconsin, South Wisconsin, and coming outside. Well, matter of fact, the night before is when I looked outside and I was like, dang, why is it's 10, 11 at night? There ain't no sun, it's the moon. That don't light up the whole earth. So I'm looking like, why is it look like somebody's house on fire? And I'm smelling it. I'm like, why does it smell like plastic burning? And then next morning, time to go to work, get up 9, 10 in the morning, and I go outside and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like clouds of smoke You can't even breathe. You don't even want to. You want to go back inside. I go to work. Great clouds in the sky. You can tell something's on fire. After about a hour of being outside, I wouldn't even say hour. After 20, 30 minutes being outside, I start tearing up. You know, like, what's that about? Then look on the news article. We're talking to the elder. Oh, they got Canadian wildfires. Oh my God, that shit was horrible, man. That shit was. I wouldn't wish that on nobody, honestly, man. That's horrible, man. You know. But anyways, what was I about to look up? Yeah, that was horrible. So yeah, man, Esau, man, we gonna super destroy. We gonna everything you put us through on this earth. We gonna put you through in the kingdom. Facts. Yeah, I know how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna have a whole city where Edomites gonna have to work in fumes. Yeah, we gonna meditate terror for real. Yeah, you gonna have to perform and conduct work under heavy fumes and smoke. All right, and the moment you stop, I'm gonna make you lose a finger. All right, and if you keep working, I'm gonna grow it back. And every time you stop, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take two until you working with no hands. Figure it out. Yeah, that's the type of terror we gonna meditate on y'all. Cause man, look, y'all did a deal on us, man. Not only the Israelites, your own freaking people. So how much do you really care about the world? Anyways, let's go to this article. Not to get carried away. Sometimes we just gotta let Esau know what he gonna be facing. You gonna see a real controlled weather program, controlled weather when we use them supernatural powers on your ass. Like Cyclone off X-Men. Like Black Canary, you know, we gonna use them type of powers on your ass. So let's see here. Is climate control real? And what's some scientific proof?
No. Large-scale climate control, like stopping hurricanes or droughts, isn't possible. Scientific organizations, such as NOAA, confirm that we don't have the technology to control major weather systems.
Well, seems like through the HAARP program y'all do. So you got some Edomites saying, oh, it's real. That's the reason that the world is, you know. And then you got stuff like this saying, yeah, it's not real. And then and it says the chemtrail myth, which we all freaking know. If you take a plane and empty out pesticides in the sky, it's affecting people. It's poison. So what are we talking about, a chemtrail myth? It ain't no myth. Airplane trails are normal water-based condensation contrails, not secret chemicals used to control the weather or poison people. Yes, they are. Because you don't fill airplanes with water. They don't run off water. They don't fly off water. It's like I'm looking on this TV right now. It's an airplane. You use that with gasoline, jet fuel, which it fumes in themselves. You have something out there called crop dusters, which shoot out pesticides from 75 feet or less in the air, 100 feet in the air on crops that we eating. That's why you eat certain things and you just taste weird, or your stomach start hurting afterwards. Your vegetables, you think you eating all fresh and clean, but you eating pesticides. And then they take these high-powered, fast engine jets up in the sky and spray chemicals, like I'm freaking looking at on TV right now, and spray chemicals all across the freaking earth. But y'all talking about some water. Man, get the hell out of here, man. Storms like hurricanes form entirely from natural ocean and air conditions. No technology exists to steer, strengthen, or stop them. Well, in the movie GEOSTORM, y'all obviously proved that. And they shocked me right there, because I thought that they was going to say, yeah, it is true. But that's why, you know, some Edomites do say it's true. But there's no such thing as climate control, because we're going to get this. All right? Yeah, they actually shot me right there. But at the end of the day, we got the knowledge to know who controls everything. It's Job chapter 28, verse 25 to 26. To make the weight for the wind. I'm going to start at 23. God, the Most High, understandeth the way thereof, and he knoweth the place thereof. Because the Most High has all knowledge. He created everything, all right? Man don't know everything. The Most High does. For he looketh to the... And man can't control everything. The Most High does. For he looketh to the ends of the earth and seeth under the whole heaven. So this whole earth is his blueprint. It's his playground, all right? He does what he wants to do. To make the weight for the winds, and he weigheth the waters by measure. Right. That's why the oceans never change size. The lakes never change size. I ain't talking about the man-made shit. The rivers never change sizes. All right. The deserts don't change. Mountains don't change sizes. All right. Ain't that church script? He can move mountains. Only God can do that. It says, verse 26, when he made a decree or a law for the rain and the way for the lightning of the thunder, then did he see it and declare it. He prepared it, and searched it out. Right. So the Most High controls all that. Okay. And to man, that's why it ain't no such thing as climate control. All right. Esau can't control the climate. He can only try to modify it through his technology. And unto man he said, behold, the fear of the Lord, that is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. Right. So we ain't going with y'all evil ideologies and evil philosophies and evil in the knowledge. All right. We ain't going with that. We ain't rolling with that. We rolling with what this book says. All right. At the end of the day, no matter what anybody says, if it ain't in the Bible, it ain't true. It's like the song say, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. If it ain't in the Bible, it don't make sense. That's why the scriptures say he that add or take away from this book shall be blotted out thereof. All right. Meaning you're gonna die. Now I got one more precept just to continue to edify that. How God controls the whole earth. This is Job chapter 37, 6-14. I'm gonna start at 5. God thundereth marvelously with his voice, great things doeth he, which we cannot comprehend. Right. And I'll tell you one thing about thunder, that truly is heaven sent, because that's the loudest sound you ever hear in your life. When I was in Texas, randomly too, I heard two. I heard one that was like boom. Another was like boom. And that was the loudest sound I ever heard in my life. Only thing I could think that could compare to that is hearing hundreds of thousands of ICBM missiles. But that time we gonna have spiritual power, so we ain't gonna have these weak ass ears and earlobes. But yeah, now I see why the scriptures say that, because it truly sounds like God is talking. It says, for verse 6, for he saith to the snow, be thou on the earth, likewise to the small rain and to the great rain of his strength. Right. So God controls the snow. He controls the little small, when you have the little droplets of rain, plus when you have things like typhoons, monsoons, tornadoes, he controls all that. He sealeth up the hand of every man, that all men may know his work. Then the beasts go into dens and remain in their places, right? Because everything is in its natural order, all right? Even the beasts of the field know. Why you think dogs, when they can sense when tornadoes come, they go in the house? Same thing for goats and all that, and sheep. When they sense that it's a tornado, they go in the barn. Chickens, they run in the coop. When it's freezing cold outside, you ain't gonna see no chickens running around in no outside. They only do that spring, summertime, fall time, when it's good weather. And how do I know? Because we used to pass by, in the last spot we stayed at, we used to pass by a house with a chicken coop. And during the winter, you only seen them plucking their heads out. That's it. Verse 9, out of the south comes the whirlwind, and cold out of the north. Right, that's why you got your equator. All right. By the breath of God, frost is given, and the breath of the waters is straightened. Also by watering he wearieth thick cloud, he scattereth his bright cloud, and it is turned round about by his counsels, that they may do whatsoever he commandeth them upon the face of the world in the earth. So the Most High controls all this. So miss us with that climate control bull crap. That's why AI said no good. We ain't even rocking with that. But you will run into some Edomites who consider themselves smart that will say this, and guess what? You get to do this. You call yourself a Christian, and it don't have to be Edomites, it can be anybody. You call yourself a Christian? Yeah, I call myself a Christian. We'll read the scripture to them. And if they don't call themselves a Christian, say, oh, don't worry, because the scriptures say all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So I'm going to read this to you anyways. And filibuster their ass. That's why the elder said, Elder Tar, take them in deep water and drown them. All right. Verse 13. He causeth it to come, whether for correction. That's just what happened to Venezuela, Colombia, the massive earthquakes. Remember the plagues of Egypt. All right. We seeing them same things today. Different plagues. All right. And the scriptures talk about plagues that wasn't even found, that didn't even happen in Egypt. That's how you know it's going to be even worse in these times. Verse 13, and I'm going to end it. He causeth it to come, whether for correction or for his land or for mercy. All right. So, you know, don't be surprised if in Jacob's trouble, you know, you running from some Edomites or something, the government or something, and he calls a earthquake and they get swallowed up, something like that. Look, man, look. We are about to experience supernatural powers and abilities. All right, them angels finna start revealing themselves. They already in the chariots. We done already seen the GMS Brothers California's video with the angel revealing himself. So we finna have all these power. Listen, if Esau can use his fake supernatural powers, how much can the sons of God use their real ones? So with that, hope you was edified. Hope you was watching. Was truly edified. The brothership of Yahweh Shai and a few sisters. Until then, till next time, Shalom.